Okay, here we go, guys. Happy Friday. It's your boy Stas here. Got my good old double espresso. When do I not? Cheers, by the way. I appreciate you all for tuning in as we have a lot to break down, from earnings to what's going on in the Middle East to charts to what I'm doing here in the market. So, guys, hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe. Join the Patreon if you want. If you want to keep up with my portfolio updates, my private Discord, all that is linked down below, pinned in the comments. Or go to stassurfs.com/Patreon. And now, cheers again. Let's get into it. So by now, I'm sure most of you know stocks are looking very good this morning, as overall we're up across the board except for the Dow. The Dow is down 0.3%, but the Qs are up 1.25%. SPY's up, let's see, about 0.3, and the Russell's up 0.1, 0.2%. But really, the Qs are driving the market today, as we're up across the board, man. Nvidia, we have stocks like Amazon hitting all-time highs. Meta is ripping today, guys. So we have a lot to break down across the board here. So we can see, and by the way, SPY's hitting all-time highs as of the pre-market. We can see this triangle is starting to play out ever so slightly, right? This is on SPY, the S&P 500. You can see we're starting to break through 712, 713. Again, we hit all-time highs in the pre-market, and the Qs are obviously hitting all-time highs as well. We've been breaking out of this triangle over the last couple of days. The Qs hit 662 in the pre-market, and I said this before, I'll say it again. I think there's a chance we go 700 on the Qs. You guys saw SPY hit 700. I don't think it's going to be the only one that gets there this year. I think the Qs in the back half of the year in particular could be going $700 a share, especially if, these big tech earnings come in hot. We get another big push after the war is officially over, after we officially get a deal. I think 700 is in the cards. Now, is it guaranteed? Obviously not, guys. I'm never going to guarantee anything in the stock market because nothing's guaranteed. But yeah, things are looking pretty good. We're bullish, needless to say, and I think we notch it up a level again after we get a deal. Once we get, big tech earnings and the market digests all that, I think we could go higher. So let's break down quickly here what's going on in the Middle East. Quick little update here, guys. Israel and Lebanon agreed to extend their ceasefire by 3 weeks, according to President Donald Trump. Now, we're not going to go too deep into this, but quick little headline here. U.S. President Donald Trump says Israel and Lebanon have extended or agreed to extend a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah by 3 weeks after talks at the White House yesterday on Thursday. And the meeting was the second high-level negotiation between the two countries since last week. And the initial 10-day ceasefire, which took effect last Friday, had been due to expire on Wednesday. So no doubt that's bringing up, or helping at least, to bring up the stock market today a little bit, easing tensions, as clearly Israel, Lebanon, that's a big part of what's going on in the Middle East. And Iran's like, look, if we don't get Israel to stop hitting Lebanon, we're not going to get a deal, period. So obviously there's incentive there, for Israel and Lebanon to come to some sort of agreement. And the fact that we got them to extend this ceasefire for 3 weeks, that's gonna obviously bring up hopes that, okay, this this could be nearing an end. You know what I mean? So that's the quick news in the Middle East from this morning. Nothing too crazy. We're not going to dive too deep into it in this video because, quite frankly, I want to break down stocks and go over earnings. In particular, Intel. Guys, Intel, oh my goodness. And I'll be honest, I was wrong. Okay, I'll say it. I thought Intel was priced to perfection heading into earnings, and I was talking about how if there's a crack in their report, the stock's going to come down. But oh boy, was I wrong. We ended up closing at 66 a share, and now we're at 82 a share. We hit 87 in the pre-market. We popped, I think, at one point 30%. Now we're up 22, 23%, which is unfreaking believable, guys. The stock's up massively now, well over 100% year to date. I mean, it's got to be by now, right? Or maybe right around 100%. Either way, this stock's been going up like crazy on earnings, and obviously earnings were strong. So let's dive into those right now. Back over here to CNBC. Let's break down this, I guess, article, earnings write-up, whatever you want to call it. So EPS came in at 29 cents for Intel, guys, adjusted, which beat the penny expected. And revenue, you guessed it, also beat $13.58 billion versus $12.42 billion. So nice double beat out of Intel. And the stock, you can see in this part of the article, has been going up like crazy all year, and now it's going up even more. I think it was up, 80% this year as of Thursday's close. Think about that. And now we're up another 20, 25%. Cheers to that, guys. And if we come down here, it looks like NVIDIA and SoftBank invested billions into Intel. You guys probably know that. And we can see right now, they reported their first revenue increase, or one of the only ones, over the last 7 quarters. Let me read this out to you guys right here. Revenue increased 7.2% year over year from $12.67 billion a year earlier, and that follows year over year revenue declines in 5 of the past 7 quarters. So Intel's finally starting to get back to growth. You know, they've been struggling, let's be honest, here over the last 2 years, right? Again, 5 of the past 7 quarters have been negative, shown negative revenue, revenue numbers year over year. So, and look at this. Intel said they expect second quarter revenue growth, or revenue between $13.8 and $14.8 billion, an adjusted EPS of 20 cents a share. That's well above analyst expectations of $13.07 billion and 9 cents of EPS. So guys, they crushed EPS, crushed revenue, guidance is strong, and of course, data center, that business, where they're getting traction in AI thanks to surging demand for CPUs, we can see that grew 22% year over year to $5.1 billion. And if we come down here a little bit more, I want to read you this excerpt about Tesla. And oh, by the way, foundry revenue increased 16% year over year to $5.4 billion, though much of its foundry business consists of making its own chips. And you'll see here what Elon's saying. We can see, where the heck is it, guys? Let's see. Oh, a major customer could be Elon Musk, though details still remain murky. Intel announced earlier this month that it will be joining Musk's Terafab chip complex in Austin, Texas, to help design, fabricate, and package ultra-high performance chips at scale for SpaceX, XAI, and Tesla. And during Tesla's call, which we had their earnings on Wednesday, Musk said Tesla plans to use Intel's forthcoming 14A process to produce chips at the facility, which is meant to make chips for use in Tesla's vehicles, robots, and in yet-to-be-constructed orbital data centers for SpaceX. So this is all very good news for Intel. And again, the fact that they are growing revenues again, they crushed EPS revenue, their guidance is strong, very strong, above the estimates, man. That's going to push the stock higher, right? It's going to push the stock higher, and that's exactly what we're getting right now. And a lot of these stocks are going, guys. ARM Holdings, we have Micron, we have NVIDIA. I mean, these are going bananas today. And again, I missed Intel. Look, I was saying, it's up a lot. Earnings have to be perfect, and they might have just been that, perfect. And the stock's going up even more. So at this point, am I FOMOing in? No, guys, I'm not. I got to be honest. I missed the move. And look, I said I would be locking in profits at 65. I'm sure as heck locking in some profits now if I'm still in this position. I know a lot of you guys are in this stock, and I'm not telling you what to do. Look, I'm saying what I would do. If I was in this name, if I'm up 100%, 50%, 80%, I'm locking in some sort of gain here because in the grand scheme of things, guys, Intel is very, overbought. We just hit all-time highs. I just realized we just took out the highs from 2000. Holy smokes. I forgot Intel was one of those stocks, that it's been trading under that dot-com era high, and that's no longer the case. We're above it. Finally, we took out that 80, 75, 80 level, which is massive. So then again, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe this goes to 100. I don't know. That's the thing with stocks, guys. You never know. So if you're in individual stocks and they're running like crazy, they're highly volatile, it's a good idea to sometimes trim some profits along the breakout, right? Especially if it's a parabolic breakout like this. Other names moving in the space, we have Micron, which I'm long. This thing's going nuts too, right? I mean, this is a stock that I was buying like a madman here in this pocket. You guys know that. All the way down to 326 is where my lowest buy was, and I trimmed some gains at about 455. And this thing is still going, and I'm still in it with that, second half or that other half of the position. And I'm looking at this like, heck, I might take profits here, right? I might lock in some profits here heading into the weekend on Micron, even though I think this could go higher. But you never know. I think this could go to 550 by the way it's looking. This chart is cleanly breaking out. We have a clear ascending triangle breakout. I think it could go higher, but do I know that? No, I don't. So that's what you have to realize when you're trading stocks, guys. You never really know where the top is. You don't know. Or the bottom, right? You don't know. But that's why you got to lock in gains along the way and trim your positions, at least in my opinion, especially on ones that have run like crazy. Micron being one of them, but obviously not nearly as crazy as Intel. So I like the way Micron is playing out here. Obviously, I think it could go higher, like I said. I don't know how much higher, right? It's already gone up so much, so I'm like, let me lock in some gains. That's how I'm thinking right now. And of course, I'll post everything in Patreon. You guys know I post all my moves, trades, investments, how I'm selling options to make money, income. I do a portfolio update twice a week usually. Every Friday we do an update, and Monday I try to get those out as well. So guys, it is a no-brainer to get in there if you want. No pressure, obviously. It's only $10 a month for the one tier, $20 for the other tier. And look, we were calling out all these stocks. I mean, if you literally were in the Patreon, all these picks pay for themselves, man. It's insane. Micron at 326. We were talking about Nvidia at 160, which, oh, by the way, Nvidia is up 5% today. 208. Here we are, breaking out. We were talking about it at 160, 170. I was buying more at 170, and now we're cleanly breaking out to multi-month highs on Nvidia, and it looks like we're going all-time highs, guys. It looks like we're going to fill this gap. We already are right here. And did I not say this a couple of days ago that I was not going to lock in gains on Nvidia or trim it, for that matter, here at 200? Because I saw this coming here. And now we're filling the gap to 210, 212. And quite frankly, I think we're going higher. I think we're going 225, 250. So I'm holding on tight on Nvidia. What else is going nuts today, guys? I think Amazon hit all-time highs. It sure did. Look at that. We hit 260, 150 into earnings on the 29th. So we have earnings on Wednesday coming up, this Wednesday after the bell. And this is another one that it might have been tempting for some to lock in gains on this big move from 200 to 250, 260. But you got to realize this stock is just getting started. If you pull the layers back, you're going to realize, wait, Amazon is just now starting to break out, after pretty much a year and a half of consolidation. This stock hit 240 back in January of 2025. We hit it again, obviously, a couple months ago. Now we're starting to cleanly break 240, 250. So I think this is going to lead Amazon to go even higher. Of course, if earnings flop, which I don't think they will, but if they do, you got to play devil's advocate. Sure, Amazon's going to come down a bit. You saw it tank last time they reported, but I don't see that happening again. I don't. In fact, I think, we hold our gains after earnings. If anything, I think we go higher, based on what I think AWS is going to do, the guidance and so forth. So Amazon at this point is just starting to break through, really, out of those multi-month highs. So that's a good sign for Amazon. Let's see what else, guys. Meta's moving long Meta as well. We have Tesla at 376. I'm tempted to buy more Tesla. I didn't do it yet after earnings, but we'll see. I'll probably wait till next week. No rush really there. Robinhood's another one that I've been looking to add, but still didn't pull the trigger there. I was going to add some at 86. Glad I didn't. It's at 83 right now. If we can get this thing anywhere back into the 70s, which I think it could get there before earnings maybe, I think that could be an interesting entry right around this moving average on the 4-hour chart, 75, 77 a share. So what do you guys think? That's kind of where I'm at. I'm long a lot of these stocks. I was pounding the table about these over the last month and a half, and now they're all looking glorious, aren't they? And again, locking in profits is never a bad thing. No one ever went broke. There's that saying, no one ever went broke locking in profits, right? And now I think I lost Micron on my watch list. Let's get it back in there. Micron is at 503, and people were panicking when it was at 300, and I was just hitting that buy button, and here we are, guys. So I'll leave you with that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe. Follow along for more content. And with that being said, guys, cheers. I'll see you all in the next video.